measuring jug, I've got 2 10 mils of milk, and here I've got a teaspoon of lemon juice, which I'm just going to tip in. Ding. Just leave that to one side for 5 or so minutes. I'm then going to weigh out my dry ingredients into the mixing bowl. So I've put the mixing bowl onto the scales and made sure that it's got a 0 on the display. And the first flour I'm going to measure is my plain white flour, and I need 125 grams. So another 125 grams. The salt is half a teaspoon of salt, which you can measure. Basically, it's a large pinch of salt. I'm going to measure mine, so half a teaspoon. And bicarbonate of soda is also half a teaspoon. The next part of the recipe is to add your buttermilk into your dry ingredients. So don't forget, it's 210 mils of buttermilk, or milk that you have added a teaspoon of lemon juice to and left aside for at least 5-10 minutes or so. You can use a table knife to bring the dough together, and you want it to form, it will be fairly sticky. Once you form the dough, you can turn it out onto your floured worktop using, if you've got a flour dredger, brilliant. If not, just sprinkle a little bit of flour onto the worktop. So I've turned the dough out onto the worktop. I've put flour underneath and a bit of flour on top because it is quite a sticky dough. And you need to handle it a little bit, but not really kneading it. You're not going to knead it like you would a yeast-based bread dough, but you want to make sure it's coming together into a ball, that all the flour is incorporated, and then you're going to shape it into a round, so into a ball, but then slightly pressed down. So I'm quite happy with that. Can you see? Slightly smooth. You've got a prepared baking tray, so you're going to lift the dough onto the tray. So once you've got your bread dough in a ball on the tray and slightly flattened, you need to dust it with some flour, and then use a palette knife to make a cross. So you're just going to press the palette knife down in one direction and then in the opposite direction. Okay, then it's ready to go in the oven. With this style of bread, you don't need to glaze it. It just has the dusting of flour, so it's quite a rustic bread. It looks really nice, and the point of the sections are that you can sort of section it off. When it's baked, you can tear into quarters, and it's really a lovely bread to have with something like a soup or a stew. So the bread is now in the oven. It's going to bake for around about 30 minutes at 200°C or gas mark 6. It will rise and it will create a lovely golden crust. The soda bread is often referred to as a quick bread because it doesn't contain any yeast. You don't have to allow for that lengthy proving time. The dough is really quick to make, and then you bake it